let's do some questions here because we
Got
got
it.
this interesting one from Devin on Twitter. Wants to know, how does Bowerman split up their men and women between events? You assume they wouldn't put more than 3 in one event because besides the last one, the women's 10K and the men's 5K. So how would you distribute the Bowerman athletes at the Olympic trials, Gordon?
Okay, I need a refresher who's on. So I guess I think Shelby is 15, Carissa's 5K.
Yes.
And then obviously Sinclair Johnson's 15. I think Elise
Mhm.
Cranny will be 5K.
Okay, so that's 2 in the 5K.
And yeah.
You have Schweizer and
Uh,
Cranny in 5K.
yeah. Vanessa Frazier, I mean, I don't think she's going to make, I think she's coming off injury. So she's kind of like, but she'll do 5K.
Okay. So
Um,
then you put like Enfeld and Merrill Hall in the 10.
yeah. I mean, you put them also in the 5K. I think they're just going to put everyone in the 5K or the 15, right? And then they
Mm-hmm.
all are going to double back in the 10 if they're capable. Now, one strategy might be like, if like Sinclair Johnson is showing that she has speed, you put her in the 800 as a backup plan because the 800 is after the 15, right? Is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 So basically, the 800 will be the backup plan for most of the 1500 meter runners. 10K will be the backup plan for most of the 5K runners. I don't think anyone will run the 10K fresh. I don't think there's a value to that. They're going to be like, whatever, take two
Interesting.
attempts. You don't need to do nothing. But I do think that I know I reported I didn't report the rumor, but I regurgitated what I heard. I think Shelby will do the 10 as a backup plan. I mean, I think it's going to happen. It makes
Mm-hmm.
sense when you really think about it. It's like she has time to still get the standard, whatever. She goes. The
Mm-hmm.
standard's not going to be hard for her. She's one of the most talented people in the world. So, yeah, that's how I think they're going to do it.
What about the men, where when you get to the
That's a little
5
different.
and the 10, it's interesting because you got Lamong, you got Woody Kincaid, you got Grant Fisher, you got Sean McGorty. How do you distribute all their talent there?
So it goes 10 and 15 first and then 5 at the end,
Yeah, it's
basically.
for the men. It's flipped from the women. Yeah.
So uh, I think Woody, Lamong, and Fisher will just do 10 and 5, right? And I think
Mhm.
McGorty might do 15 and 5.
Interesting.
So yeah,
Do you
right.
see anybody
They should.
try
I mean, because McGorty and Thompson, right, will do 15 and 5.
and Central will do just 15
Yeah, 15.
or
But Central will probably
maybe.
use Central will enter the 5. Will be on the start list of the 5, but will only run it if he doesn't make the team or if he's like,
You
screw
want
it,
to
I'm out.
you want to come to Eugene with a backup plan. I think that's
Yeah.
common knowledge at this point. You don't want to just have one event if you can
You,
help it, even if you're very confident in that one event.
this is how it works.
Kieran,
On Olympic
oh, go
years,
ahead.
you have your secondary event as your backup plan, and then your third backup plan is you just find a great great grandmother who is born in Djibouti, and you're able to represent a different country, and then you're going to the Olympics.
I thought you said
That's the true backup plan.
there might be a little late for that. Kieran says, "Will Sam Tanner do better than Nick Willis at the Olympics? Both got selected to represent New Zealand yesterday." What do you
Yeah,
think?
I can see that. Yeah, he's younger. I mean, Nick Willis is great, but like I think Nick Willis, he's just eyeing like a swan song type season. Um, I think he would probably love just like figure out a way to make the final, and then he made the final, he'd be like, wow, right, and then anything can happen. But I think Sam Tanner is going to be much sharper coming with the Andy Powell training. Has that chip on his shoulder from indoors. He's going to run well NCAAs. He's going to be
Mhm.
race sharp. I can see Sam doing better. Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna roll with the guy who's made every Olympic team for New Zealand and Nick Willis one last time. That's tough. It's tough to do it at the right time, especially all the And he's been racing hard, Sam Tanner, since indoor season. I'm sticking with Willis. Tim in Virginia says, one name I don't hear getting thrown into the mix at the Olympic trials is Clayton Murphy. He has one race to his credit in 2021 where he finished last at the American Track League 800 in Arkansas on January 31st. In that race, he was 4 seconds behind Hoppel, 2 seconds back from Engels. Even so, I like his chances in the 800, but even more in the 1500. What are your thoughts on what his best chances are for a return to the Olympics? I think a good percentage of the running community would have a hard time remembering that he was the Rio bronze medalist at age 21. I challenge listeners to name all 3 800 men on the U.S. squad from Rio. The tides have definitely changed in 5 years. To make my case for Murphy, his PRs are currently 47.97 in the 400, 142.9 in the 8, 336 in the 15, 331.99 in the mile, which converts to 334 high. These are more than respectable PRs, but more importantly, he has shown that when there are rounds involved, his stock rises significantly. Interested to hear your thoughts on this guy and how would you advise him if you were coaching him? That is Tim. I mean,
The
we've
Olympic
talked
team
before about
was
the. Go ahead.
wasn't the Olympic team Murphy, Berrien, and Jock
Yeah, a lot of people don't know
in
this, but Charles
2016?
Jock actually rode his bike to the race that day. It was not
Berrien made the
reported at all.
Olympics, right?
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
Boris Berrien.
Barron.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. But he's right. Most people would not know that. That event has turned over like crazy. And now you have two guys at the top who you can't really see getting knocked out of qualification position. And Murphy, very good in the 1500 as well. There was the year he went for both, which was awesome. And I like that he really, took his shot, took a big swing there. Because of where the 15's at, you could say the 15 would be a
And the 15's first too,
easier
right?
path. Yeah, you could say the 15 would be an quote unquote easier. Nothing's easy, but there's no Brazier and Hoppel presence right now. Now, if Central gets cooking in the next month, and then you're like, all right, that's one spot gone. But right now, it does look like there's more room available in the 15 than there is in the 8.
Yeah, the more and more you think about it, especially with the 1500 being first, and a 15 800 double is 100% possible. Yeah, I can see Murphy thinking like, why not? Like the
Yeah,
1500, it would be different if like the 1500 had a Brazier version and a Hoppel, because then it's
yeah,
like, all right,
exactly.
that's you know, you got to be super on your A game to make the team. But Centro, we know he's good, but it's unknown. Thompson is still kind of new to the game. Craig Engels is a wild card, right? And then everyone else is just 337s and change, right? Or 336s
Hmm.
and 337s. Hell, we think 2 college kids are gonna potentially make the team in Nagoose and Hawker. So I'm sure Murphy probably looks at that and be like, hey, if I'm a 336 shape and I still have my wheels, I should be able to be top 3 in that race. So
Yeah,
yeah, I can see him doing both.
how many people can close in the 15 like Murphy can close in a 15 if he's back to close to where he was before even?
Not many.
Right. Right?
The
I mean,
question,
that's
the
just
only the only question mark on Murphy would be like his health, right? Because I mean, he has a reason why we haven't seen him with this whole pandemic that
yeah,
went on, but like, uh,
yeah,
he was still good in 2019. The
yeah.
question is like, every athlete is good until they're not good, right? They're always
Ah,
like,
that
and
is
and
that's
and,
fact.
and you never know when
We
that
should
moment happens, right? Some people it happens at age 30, some it happens at age 25, sometimes it
yeah.
happens at age 19 when they get to college because they're like, crap, this isn't for me. We don't know where that is for Murphy. It could be, I'm sure he knows better, but like without seeing results, you just don't know. So there's no reason not to think that he's fine. Right? He
Yeah.
hasn't really. He's still young, right? How old is he? Is he 25, 6, 7, something like that?
You're just gonna name every number in the 20s. It's just somewhere in between 20 and 30 at that point. I'm looking at your 800 rankings though. Brazier, Hoppel, you have Murphy third, Kidder, Harris, Jewett, Sawinski, Ellison, Abda, Piazza, there in the top 10. So it's not as if Murphy can't make it in that group. You still have him ranked third. It's just that
Yeah.
Brazier and Hoppel are so dug in there, and the chances of somebody from that back group being able to run a quick time or get sharp, get hot. Someone like Harris, who's made a team before, is pretty good. Whereas we just don't know what the heck's going on in the 1500.
Yeah, we have no idea.
No. All right.
I think he should do both. I think he will. I mean, would be interesting though if he does do both, right? And say he makes the 1500 team, and then he's like, what if he makes both teams, right? Maybe
Yeah.
he doesn't try to double because I'm not sure if the double is possible at the Olympics, but then maybe all of a sudden the fourth place person is making it in either the 8 or the 15. So that might be an interesting kind of situation where you think you're not going to the Olympics, but then Murphy makes both teams, so then you get to go to the Olympics and whatever. Then you have that telephone call where the fourth place 800-meter runner and the fourth place 1500-meter runner are calling up Murphy, making their best offer. Be like, all right, here, what can you offer me for an Olympic dream? That's a good question. What is the financial value? Say you are like an unsponsored athlete, right?
Yeah.
And you get fourth, and you can offer a monetary cash to someone to scratch that event for a different event.
For a
Do you think
different
that ever
event?
happened? Yeah, so say Murphy made both the 15 and the 8, and he's like, I'm only going to do one, right? And do you think someone can ever offer like, hey, here's $10,000 if you scratch the 8 and do the 15, so then I can go into the 8? Do you think that ever happens? And if it does happen, what do you think the value is? Like, how much would you be willing to pay someone to scratch that event for a different event so you could become an Olympian? Because there's marketing value, right? If you're an Olympian, you can use that for 4 years.
I don't think that's ever happened, but I do think if it did happen, you'd have to add on another zero to your 10,000 thing. Not scratching for 10,000. Unless it was an event I didn't want to run, unless it was literally the 10,000, and then I would be like, sure, I will bow out of this 10,000. But no, you're going to have to talk. It's got to be 6 figures for me to scratch out. No.
Oh, all right, hold on.
10 grand?
No, wait, hold
10
on.
grand?
Hold on.
Come on. I'm not giving away my spot for 10 grand. No.
Okay, what if you're Donovan Brazier? What if you're Donovan Brazier and you make the 1500 team and the 800-meter team? You are not trying to win the 1500 Olympic title. You want to break the world record in the 800. Having the 1500 in like, hell, maybe Brazier runs the 15. Why not? You could probably easily come back and make the 8, have backup plan. But
Yep.
If Brazier would make both, clearly he can go into the Olympics all in on the 800, and that's okay. So he doesn't need the 1500. So like, if he could scratch a 1500 for an extra 50K, why wouldn't he take that?
Just so people know who are listening, we're joking. It's not actually what happens.
But this could happen. This
bidding war,
pull
though.
a McLuffy and jog a prelim of the 1500 at the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, but bidding war, though, man. Bidding war, supply and demand. Supply is low.
I don't think anyone's going to pay more than well, the only person you can pay for it is the fourth place finisher.
Oh, that's true. I guess, yeah, he's kind of boxed in here. This should be an econ lecture, actually. That's what I'm learning.